Hi everyone, I want to talk to you today about one of my techniques for learning to jibe. So when I was windsurfing, I found a really good way of learning to jibe was to try and break it up into sort of smaller sections. And so what I sort of developed for myself was what I call S turns. So you're just trying to break the jibe down into smaller sections. So bearing off, getting used to picking up speed, picking up as much speed as you can carry, and then the subtle changes in your foot pressure as you go downwind, because the wing is no longer producing any particular sideways force, it's pulling you forward, but it's also not producing any particular pull. So instead of you resisting the wing, you've now got to transfer your weight to purely glide the wing, and then being able to transfer the weight to your toes, and once your toes, and then gradually coming back onto your heels. So it's just a gentle way of getting into the various parts of the jibe. Okay, so basically what we're looking to try and do is, instead of trying to do a jibe, which is basically a full 180-degree turn, and there's an awful lot going on there, what we're looking to do is to go from a reach to a broad reach to pick up as much speed as we can, to then turn onto our toes, and as we feel the board start to slow down, we then turn back onto our heels, pick up a bit of speed again, go onto our toes, pick up, lose the speed, and then back up onto a broad reach, pick up some speed. And if we keep doing that and then we go back upwind, we've got a really good opportunity to try to get used to the various points of sail of the board and what the board is doing, because there's going to be points when there's no power in the wing whatsoever, and you need to use the board, you need to use the glide. And the phrase that I've been using recently is trust the glide. The glide will take you further than you think. And as you go onto your toes, you're just gently experimenting what's going on, but you're not going too far around the turn. You're not leaning into it, which is where generally it's going to go wrong. So what you're doing at this point here is you're just feeling what the board wants to do. And then at any point it starts to go wrong, get back onto your heels. That's your safety position. Power up the wing, pick up a bit of speed, and then start to keep doing that. And you can do these quite lazy, and you can do them quite hard, depending on how you want to do it. And then the next stage would be, as you come around to here, you could actually then start your turn and go round. But as you go on to toe side, don't try to go back upwind, just do a onto toe side for maybe 10 seconds and then carve round again. So what we'll do is we'll look at some of the videos of what I'm showing is how those S turns work and what's happening. And what you're hearing, basically you'll feel and hear the wing go completely powerless and completely silent, and now you're gliding, and that is just pure board power. And that's where you need to be very, very gentle with your foot positioning, and obviously then turning and bringing the power on. If you turn through the wind too quickly and you bring the power on too quickly, then you're going to put a lot of power through one of your feet. It's going to spin you into wind, or it's going to throw you over. So it's a nice way of getting the power to come on nice and gently, and gradually try all of these points of sail until eventually you can go round the turn, go toe side, hold it, go back round again. You don't have to change your feet. If you get the confidence to do it, eventually you can change the wing in your hand and then you flick back the other way. But it's a good way of breaking up the jibe into smaller and smaller sections. So this is the 12 o'clock position. Pick up speed, bear away to the 10 o'clock. Go down to the 9. When the wind goes light, just hold it. As you start to lose speed, just gently carve back up into wind. Feel the power in the wing again. Pick up speed, and then bear off again from the 12 o'clock through the 10 to the 9. Wind goes light, you're going with the wind. Carve slightly back up into wind again. Feel the power in the wing, pick up speed. What you can do is you get more confidence, is you can just start going further through the wind, almost through to the sort of 8 o'clock position. Now you're almost toe side, and then carve back again. And when you get the confidence to do that, next thing is going with a little bit more speed, and then put the wing above you, and then actually just carve round. And now you're toe side. And then all you do is just do the same as before, carve back up into wind. This time you've got to do a free change. So it's a way of gradually getting into basically carving around and changing the wing, not changing the feet. So that's the S turns. Okay, so here we are again. So basically on a reach, nicely powered up on the wing, just trying to get myself a bit of speed and keep myself upwind. And then when I'm ready, my back foot comes across the board. That's important, so that your foot's further along the centre line. And then what I'm going to do is just going to gently bear off, and I'm just going to get a feeling for what the board is doing. So it's a really subtle heel and toe pressure. But as you start to bear off, you get less and less pull from the wing. So now you can't rely on it to give you any sort of stability. So what you're looking at is this is now pure surfing with a little bit of stability in the wing. Starts to go wrong, head up into wind again. Wind comes back into play, you've got something to pull again. Enough speed, bear off. And you can just try these little turns almost to toe side, then slightly back to heel side, almost back onto toe side, slightly back onto heel side. But every time you feel that you're slowing, if you head up wind again, you can get a bit of power from the wing, and then you can then start your bearing off again. So you can see here, I'm just doing these gentle downwind turns. You can see almost through onto toe side, and then gently carving back onto the upwind. A little bit of power in the wing, a little bit of speed. Once you've got the speed, a little bit more bear away. And it's just this feeling of using the wing only when you get a little bit of power. And then when you go through the turn, if you go through and you bear off on the other side, you're not actually really truly toe side, so you're not leaning. That's where it tends to go wrong. You're just continuing that almost downwind, and then the next turn back onto heel side is your it's like your safety position. So you're back onto heels, which is your sort of strong position. You can then power back up, get some stability from the wing, pick up a bit of speed, and then you can go into the next turn. Okay, so here we are, we're on an Armstrong 2400 with a 300 back wing. It's quite a fast foil. You can see here, absolutely motoring along, probably doing 15, 16 miles an hour, and wind was probably 16 to probably 19 miles an hour. So basically what I do is just try and get myself upwind as far as I can, just absolutely hammer upwind for, you know, a good 2 or 3 minutes, just so that you've got room to start maneuvering downwind as you need to. So basically the harness helps, hooked in, really pulling against the foil, and you know, just trying to get myself upwind. In fact, occasionally I end up almost going a little bit too wind. That's the thing about the foil. Foil will glide through the wind when the wind drops a little bit, and you end up finding that the wing itself sort of like almost backwinds. So anyway, basically that's it. Get yourself upwind as possibly you can, and then get yourself ready for the downwind leg.